And we're back with another episode of Baseless Babble. It is I, the Babbler. We're doing the week 2 predictions. Thursday night football. We've got Washington at the Packers. Washington looked pretty good against the Giants. I think it's because the Giants suck. Packers looked pretty good against the Lions. They actually looked really good, especially defensively. It's going to be an interesting game. Moderately high scoring, I would assume. Um, The thing is I think the Packers know how to tackle. So I'm gonna go with the Packers there. Next game we've got the Jags at the Bengals. Bengals seemed a bit off last week. And I knew something was missing. I was looking at their roster last week and I was like, something's missing here. And I forgot they don't have Zach Moss anymore. And I feel like he made the team. He didn't play very well last year, but I feel like he completed the team after the loss of Joe Mixon for the Bengals. So I don't know. The Jags looked pretty awful last week. Um, the Bengals played the Browns, and the Browns almost won. I mean, the Jags ran the ball pretty hard. I feel like their scoreline was shitty though, and really questioning Trevor Lawrence. I'll take Cincinnati in a bounce back game. Well, I mean, they won, but I'm still considering it a bounce back game because I don't think they played well last week. Uh, then it's the Giants and the Cowboys. Um, Last week, the Giants played the Commanders. Seemed like they got beat physically on both sides of the ball. Seems like they don't know how to tackle besides Drew Phillips. And it seems like their game plan under offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, whatever that guy's name is, fucking hate that bald prick. Seems like he wants to focus on short passing. Seems like seems like he's targeting Malik Neighbors pretty heavy as the first read, and then if it's not that, it's like a short pass to like Wandale or somebody else. And the problem is that most of the people on the roster can't really move like Wandale, so the short passing really isn't as effective as it should be. And Russell Wilson looked pretty rough. He doesn't seem like he can escape the edge rusher or the blitz. Um, he was really focused on the first read. Almost never got to his second read, and he wasn't super accurate. And Malik Neighbors made like three or four like pretty nice, contested catches, but he has to jump for them, and then he falls, and then he gets tackled. So besides that, like the best catch that I saw from the Giants was Daniel Bellinger made a 14-yard catch in stride that looked good. Um, but yeah, the Giants look awful. I think they all need to hit the weight room and seriously increase their PR by like 20 to 30 pounds on every single exercise because the Giants look fucking weak and they're a disgrace to the state of New York. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys because Cowboys looked good on Thursday night against the Eagles. I feel like they could have beat the Eagles under the right circumstances. Okay, the Bears didn't look good. Gave up a big lead to JJ McCarthy, which they shouldn't have done. And then the Lions got bullied by the Packers defense last week. So I'm gonna say the Lions wake up. I'm just gonna say they wake up. They can't stay dormant forever. So I'm taking the Lions there. Um, Rams versus the Titans. I actually think the Rams can lose this game. Um, but it's pretty I would say it's definitely unlikely. and by the looks of it, the Titans O line is really bad. So I mean, if Cam Ward's going to be under pressure all game, like he was last week, I mean, probably just got to give it to the Rams. I mean, it's hard to go against Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay. I think did Puka get a concussion? Not entirely sure, but I don't think it matters. Even if they don't have Puka, I still think they can win that game. Next game, Patriots versus the Dolphins. Um, Tua looked pretty rough last week also. And the Patriots defense, like I thought, looked okay. I think quarterbacks always play well in Miami on the road. I don't know if it's just like the sun or the air, but I feel like on the road quarterbacks usually play pretty good. So I think Drake May can get involved down there. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I feel like they have enough weapons at the Patriots. They got young receivers. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Hunter Henry. I think they can definitely make it a game on a questionable Dolphins defense. So I'll take the Patriots there. Next game, San Francisco looked a little shaky last week. Um, they're playing the Saints at the Saints, similar to the Lions. I think San Francisco is going to sharpen up this week, and they're just going to beat on the worst opponent that is in front of them. I have nothing to say about the Saints because I don't like Spencer Rattler, bro. So fuck them. Taking 49ers. Bills, super high scoring game. What a game last week. That was crazy from the Bills. The 16-point comeback against the Ravens. They're at the Jets. Jets had a great game last week, too. They looked much better than I thought they would. I thought they were going to be pretty dysfunctional. Still didn't see much passing wise from Justin Fields. He did a lot of his work on the ground. He made a couple throws, but and they almost won if Chris Boswell didn't hit a new PR kick. Um, I think the Bills can get upset here. I wouldn't be surprised because they're gonna have to deal with Justin Fields. I think Brees Hall could do well in this game. I think their corners are questionable, so Garrett Wilson should be able to outshine them. I definitely think this one is going to be a lot closer than most people think, but I'm gonna take the Bills because I mean, why would I ever doubt Josh Allen? Like, why would I ever doubt him? I saw enough. I saw enough from the Bills defense that like they were okay against the Ravens. Obviously, like they have a really good receiving room on the Ravens, and the running backs are really good. But towards the end, at Oliver, he got that forced fumble. I mean, they did their job. It's not like the Bills like don't know how to play football like the Giants. So, I'll take the Bills though. Seahawks, Steelers. Steelers beat the Jets last week. They looked pretty good. I think it could be maybe I'm not doubting the Steelers. Like the Steelers could definitely win this game, but I just have a feeling that last week I wasn't too happy with the Seahawks, okay? I thought they played pretty conservatively, and I think this week it's more of a prove it game to me for the Seahawks because I think they can beat the Steelers. And I think they have to prove to the NFL and themselves that they can change their game plan and air it out a little bit more. I would like them to target Cooper Kupp a bit more. I I didn't watch the game against the 49ers, but I would assume that he was shadowed by Fred Warner, so they just decided not to throw to Cooper Kupp. I think that against the Steelers, they will target Cup more, and I think Zach Charbonnet is going to have a really good game. Um, so I think they can actually upset the Steelers here. So I'm going to take the Seahawks. This is more speculative, but I mean, I think that game can go either way. Maybe it's like 40-60 in the Steelers' favor, and I just kind of believe in that 40%. So, um, next game, Browns Ravens. Browns looked kind of pedestrian last week, and I like Joe Flacco. I like Njoku. But I don't really believe in their running backs. I don't believe in their wide receiver room because Jerry Jeudy is just a clown, bro. Um, defensively, they're pretty good, but I mean, if their offense isn't as good as the Bills, they're not going to be able to outshoot the Ravens. And the Ravens looked pretty good last week, besides Derrick Henry fumbling and then them not being able to close out the game, which honestly the Ravens probably should have won. I think John Harbaugh should have went for it on fourth down because you have I think they needed 2 yards and they had Lamar and they have Derrick Henry and you got the hands team. I'm sure you have tight ends on the roster for some kind of special run that they could have done something there. And basically, they were just like, yeah, we're not going to lose a 16-point lead in 3 minutes, and like they lost a 16-point lead in 3 minutes because they never got the ball back. So they should have went for it on fourth down. I think if they're in a similar situation, they will go for it on fourth down this time, and they will win. I don't know. The Browns aren't as good as the Bills, so the Ravens are going to win. Um, Broncos versus the Colts. So Bo Nix didn't look too hot last week, and I think Evan Ingram's hurt. Um, gonna need to see a lot more out of Cortland Sutton and whoever else is on their roster, bro. I literally have no clue. J.K. Dobbins got in the end zone. Let's see how much, he can keep providing to the team. And the Colts looked really good last week, and I predicted that they were going to be pretty good. In my wide receiver tier list, it's on my channel. It says Cam Ward said what? Top five? You can go check that out. I talked about how the Colts were going to be a dark horse, and then I mentioned it, I think, in the last week's prediction video that the Colts were going to surprise people, and I'm taking credit for that. However, the Broncos defense really, really good. So this one's going to be a close game. It really depends on how Daniel Jones plays. Because if Daniel Jones can play really good against one of the top defenses in the league, then actually the Colts are playoff bound. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If Bo Nix can tear it up I just feel like he needs more help offensively because the Colts defense is no joke either. Um, I think I think the defenses against the other team's offenses are going to be pretty closely matched. So it's really just about who has a better offense, and I would give that to the Colts. I think they're going to score more points, so I'm going to pick the Colts this week. Um, Panthers Cardinals. I saw that Kyler Murray. They said he had diarrhea. I it might have been fake, but if it was real, that's pretty funny. So I can only assume that the Cardinals are going to play better this week. And the Panthers are probably the worst team in the league. However, I do like certain parts of their defense. I do like certain parts of their offense, but I just don't think they're going to be competitive enough against the Cardinals. So I'll take the Cardinals. Eagles versus the Chiefs. That's another big time game. That's two big time games back to back for the Eagles to beat the Cowboys and then to play the Chiefs. It's kind of serious. Again, I think this game could go either way also. Um, I would like to pick the Chiefs actually, but the O-line looked a little sketchy last week for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes didn't look super great, and my main problem is that they kept throwing to the Tyquan Thornton guy, so likely went out. So their deep threat speedster was out for the game, and basically every deep ball they threw was to Tyquan Thornton. and he just doesn't have the hands or the speed, bro. So I personally would have swapped him out for Hollywood Brown because Hollywood Brown's really fast and he has better hands. So I don't know why the deep balls weren't going to Hollywood Brown. I don't know why the middle range, the short range passing wasn't going to Kelsey. I don't know why they didn't get Pacheco involved in the passing game or Kareem Hunt. Um, a lot of question marks, and honestly, even though they've been getting to the Super Bowl every year, I am questioning Andy Reid more and more for his decision making, and the defense for the Chiefs also seemed out of sync. Steve Spagnuolo didn't have that on lock, and it seemed like the DBs and stuff and the linebackers were arguing with each other because they just weren't synced up. So I think the defense will get better, but I don't think they're going to get better right now. I think they'll probably get better like week 3 to 5. So I'm going to take the Eagles here. Falcons, Vikings. Surprisingly, like the Falcons were able to do things in the game offensively. I didn't really expect that out of Michael Penix. I thought he was just gonna, roll over and have like a shitty season. Um, JJ McCarthy almost blew the game on Monday night against the Bears. But he's got so much infrastructure around him, and I am happy to see things like that pass to Aaron Jones. I think stuff like that is like pretty important if you want to have a good team. So I don't know. This one could be close. But I just want to say maybe the Falcons are a mismatch for the Vikings defense. And I don't know, maybe the Falcons will be surprising this year, so I'll take the Falcons. I mean, they were almost good. Like they were almost good. They almost made the playoffs, or they went out in the first round, or so. I don't remember when they had Kirk Cousins. Like their roster was pretty good, and they went far. So if they have a similar roster with a more athletic quarterback, and maybe if he can provide something more than Kirk Cousins, I think the Falcons are legit. If that's the case, I need to see more, obviously. So I'll take the Falcons. Um, Buccaneers, Texans, prime time Baker Mayfield. Um, man, the Texans did not look good last week, and I don't know how they're gonna fix that. Um, the Bucks looked okay, though. I mean, I wish that game wasn't so close. I wish they were more dominant, but I have a lot of faith in the Bucks, so I think the Bucks are probably gonna win. I don't have much to say. Like, I don't know. I mean, apparently that rookie receiver they have is pretty good. And I don't know. I just like Baker Mayfield. I think he's just got the right attitude to win football games. And I think right now Stroud and D'Amico Ryans are lacking that characteristic trait that Baker Mayfield has, and maybe Todd Bowles even. So yeah, I'll take the Bucks. In the last game Monday night, Chargers versus the Raiders. Chargers looked pretty good week 1. And the Raiders, uh, for me, they were a little lackluster, but they were able to play offense. They were passing to their tight ends, they were passing to their receivers, they were trying to run the ball. Um, I do think the Patriots were a good defense, so that and it was week 1, so I think the Raiders are gonna get better. I would like to see more decision making out of Justin Herbert. Because it seems like he's forcing the ball to Quentin Johnson a lot, which is fine. But I don't know. I mean, the Chargers are legit. They're gonna play in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I just their running backs need to come alive. If the running backs come alive for the Chargers, I think they're legit for the rest of the season. And even in this game, I think that maybe the Raiders lack just a little bit of firepower to get through the Chargers defense, whereas the Chargers have quite a bit of firepower and options. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers, and that's the week 2 predictions Make sure to subscribe.